Back in 1981, a young artist by the name of Shigeru Miyamoto created the now legendary game Donkey Kong. The hero was a small, strange-looking mustachioed man with red dungarees and a red hat. His name? Jumpman. He was out to rescue his girlfriend Pauline, who'd been captured by the evil ape. The story goes that the landlord of Nintendo's distribution warehouse in the US was called, you guessed it, Mario. The name stuck, and 2 years later he had his own arcade game, Mario Bros. There were various ports on home computers, and as a kid I loved to play this on our family Atari 800XL. We all know and love the NES Super Mario Bros. Games which followed, but it wouldn't be until 1989, 1990 in Europe, when we could finally put that little Italian plumber in a pocket or a bum bag and have some of the best platforming action anywhere we wanted. This is Super Mario Land on the Nintendo Game Boy.
Cast your mind back 30 years today. George W. Bush was the US President. By the Bangles was #1 in the UK, and The Karate Kid Part 3 was about to be released in the cinema.
You know how to front sweep?
Not really. Do you know how to sweep?
Of course. Hold like this. Then, left the side.
Japanese Nintendo fans were about to get their first taste of Mario on the go.
ゲームボーイ専用ソフトスーパーマリオランド
Gunpei Yokoi and Satoru Okada had previously worked together to create Metroid and Kid Icarus. They also designed the original Game Boy. They teamed up to create Super Mario Land.
Give Mario a happy ending and make your world a better place. Super Mario Land and other exciting games for Game Boy. Nintendo, now you're playing with power, portable power.
As the first Mario game to have no involvement from Miyamoto, there are some unusual elements that hadn't been seen before in a Mario game. You take control of the now famous plumber who has to save Princess Daisy, not Peach as usual, from the evil clutches of a space alien Tatanga. Some of the enemies here hadn't been seen before, and some of them haven't been seen since. One thing missing is a save feature, so try and take your time and make those lives count. To mix up the standard jumping and running we've become accustomed to so far in Mario games up to this point, there are also 2 levels in which you get to use the Sky Pop and Marine Pop vehicles in an R-type style of gameplay. Another change is the Fire Flower power-up. Here it's called the Super Flower, which turns Mario into Super Ball Mario. Once obtained and fired, this bounces diagonally and continues to ricochet around the screen, bouncing off everything until it hits an enemy, bounces off screen, down a hole, or disappears after a short period of time. It also comes in handy as it collects coins that it touches. At the end of each non-boss level, Mario can choose between 2 exits. The lower exit takes him to the next level, or the upper exit takes him to a bonus round, where extra lives or power-ups can be obtained. Try and go for the top one where you can, because you'll need those extra lives along the way.
World 1 is the Egyptian kingdom Birabuto, and here you'll find pyramids and hieroglyphics. Enemies include Goombos, a smaller variety of the usual Goombas found in other Mario games. Flies, piranha plants, bun-buns, Gows and bombshell Koopas. Once you've jumped on these, move out of the way quickly before they explode. The final boss you'll face here is Totomesu, a sphinx lion that breathes fire. If you have super balls, then just fire some of these at him while avoiding the flames, and you'll soon get over the drawbridge. If you haven't, time it just right and run underneath him. Here you'll meet Daisy, or so you thought. In an evil trick of deception, she transforms into a fly and bounces away. Damn you, Tatanga!
World 2 sees the deep ocean beneath you, the Muda Kingdom. Avoid the jumping fish bones, fire-breathing seahorses, and robots which fling their heads like boomerangs. We told you there were some unusual choices here. Make it to the last level and you'll head underwater using the Marine Pop submarine we mentioned earlier. Bash those buttons and fire as many torpedoes as you can at all the underwater enemies you encounter. Watch out for the Gunyan's fireballs it releases once shot. Make it to the end and you'll face Dragon Zamazu, a giant seahorse. Just keep pressing that fire button and avoid the fireballs. You'll soon be reunited with Daisy again.
In World 3 we head to the Eastern Kingdom, a land seemingly based on Easter Island. Here we find some of the most bizarre Mario enemies seen to date, like the flying stone heads called Batodons. Be ready for the Toko Tokos, stone heads which run at you quickly and just keep on going. There are rolling rocks you need to jump on to avoid the devilish spikes and pitfalls. Level 2 sends you into a cave with 2 varieties of spiders and falling spikes to avoid. Hioihoi is the very fitting rock creature who attacks Mario with bouncing boulders called Ganchans. Fire your super balls at him, or just jump on the boulders to make your way past the potato-headed looking mother. Oh, Daisy. Finally. What? What the? No!
World 4, the Chai Kingdom.
One cup of chai.
In the final world, we find an Asian theme with bamboo and some great music, reminiscent of classic kung fu movies. Enemies here include spitting snakes, pom-pom flowers, and Pompey, vampire zombie-like creature. Once you've stomped them, be on your guard, as a few seconds later they'll be back from the dead. Best to get rid of them completely with 2 super balls instead. Be careful to avoid the roto discs in level 2. These can be tricky. In the final level, you get to fly in Mario's second mode of transport, the Sky Pop. This level is a really fun side-scrolling shooter where we get to blast other planes and chickens with helmets. Reaching the end, we engage in combat with Binkatin, the level's cloud boss, who fires chickens. Fire 20 missiles at the cloud to defeat him. And then onto the head honcho himself, Tatanga. In his spaceship, Pagosu. He fires large cannonballs which split into 3 while flying up and down. Just keep your eye on the cannonballs, focus on avoiding them, and keep hitting that fire button. Enough missiles and Tatanga is gone. Daisy? Daisy! Is it really you? It is you! Let's fly.
Tatanga is defeated, and Mario and Daisy fly through the clouds while the credits roll. The music over the credits is fantastic, and you can listen for as long as you like.
So, that's all. Game finished, right? Wrong. Now, for the hardcore gamer in you, you get to do it all over again. Once again, with no saves and tons more enemies on screen. If you have the patience and skill to work through the 4 worlds again, you get the luxury of a level select after completion. If you've never played Super Mario Land, or fancy picking it up again after watching this, there's plenty of ways to play it again today.
Playing on the original Game Boy may bring back feelings of nostalgia, but it's tough to deal with a black and green non-backlit screen these days. You can get a backlight and bivert mod for your original Game Boy fairly inexpensively, but you'll still be dealing with a very slow refresh rate, which causes everything to become blurry when you move. The best way to play portable, in our opinion, is on the Game Boy Advance SP AGS 101, the one with the backlit screen. Or on another Game Boy, modded with a screen from an AGS 101, like the Game Boy Advance here. If you want to play at home and you have a Super Nintendo or Super Famicom, then the Super Game Boy or Super Game Boy 2 is the way to go. Paired with an upscaler like the FrameMeister or OSSC, Game Boy games look and play amazing on the big screen.
Retron 5 is an OK option, but remember, this is still emulation, and you will experience some input lag. If you don't have original hardware, or you're not interested in investing, you can still play this on a Nintendo 3DS or 2DS by downloading from the eShop. So, that was Mario back then. Do you have any fond memories of this particular title? If so, get in touch, leave some comments. From those tiny Game Boy pixels, look how far the Nintendo mascot has come. Probably the most recognisable character of all time, right? Got to be in the top 5, for sure.
From the Garage Gamers to our favourite plumber,
Happy anniversary!